So, today we'll be talking about Juliet, one of the newest characters, Romeo and Juliet. In general, I like this character, is probably recency biased, but she's a pretty fun character to play. Well, she is she's supposed to be played together with Romeo, but I do feel like playing her alone is pretty much the better choice. So for her trait passive is whenever you play alone, you just press the Q button and it gives you regeneration, meaning it takes away some of your health, but then it slowly recovers a bit more health. With Romeo, whenever you play with him on the team, you give him 15% of your maximum HP, but it heals him for 200% of the amount, which means that if you guys queue together at the same time, it means you will have more healing in total or health in total at the end of the exchange. Pistol, pretty nice attack. It consumes ammo. At the start, you have 6 ammo. Right click also consumes ammo. 4-second cooldown. It's a long shot that can. You do perfect shot, which is a 100% crit chance. At the same time, you can explode Romeo's rose. Hopefully they buffed this because on the X feed they did say that if you explode Romeo's rose, it's supposed to make them vulnerable, but maybe they just changed that last second. E, which is special, which you call Romeo and he answers the call. If you play as a one person, you only have one ability, but if you play as two, you technically both of you have one of this ability. And it is a 9-second cooldown. It just gets you together. You do good area damage. Defense, it's a very nice intangible defense, meaning that you can dodge almost everything in the game with this 6-second cooldown, and you shoot all of your bullets all around. So after this, you do need to press space, which is dash, to recover all of your bullets. Whenever your bullets finish from either this, left click, right click, or shift, you do need to either wait for a few seconds and it slowly starts recovering one by one, or you just dash to recover all of it together. The ults, both ults are fine. I've done more testing with wild walls because it does make you intangible and you can kind of build the stun meter of the enemies pretty fast with this. 90-second cooldown. The other one is also fine. This is definitely my favorite starting skill. Volcanic shots at max level, it gives you 6 bullets in a row after you dash, and you shoot them very fast. You shoot 6 bullets in the time that you would shoot 2 bullets normally, I would say. It's a very nice skill. I love it a lot. But if you're playing together with somebody, I do recommend maybe taking a look at wedding gifts and building either for your right click or for your special, or even for the normal auto attack build together with Romeo, because it does give you a chance whenever you get some kind of item, each with its specific percentages, to get that item to Romeo, or whenever Romeo gets it, to give it to Juliet. The other two I haven't experimented much, but from reading them I don't really like them. If you go to the talents, this is a pretty good talent, long shot. I usually do take it. Hotshot is also very nice. You ignite enemies, and this actually pairs very well with one of the latest talents that you get, which is a lucky shot, which is attack at max level. It has 12% chance to turn into power shot, and if it does turn into power shot and you have hotshot, it means that your next bullet ignite. So whenever you dash, you shoot 6 bullets, and if the first of them or second or whatever of them is actually turned into a power, then you do have other bullets just ignite the enemies. This perfect shot is also good, but you kind of need to get good with timing, and I don't really like that it's only 3.5 seconds vulnerability. So this character's main weakness, I would say, is that she doesn't have any kind of vulnerability, and even together with Romeo, you don't really have a good vulnerability. So you would either play with somebody that has one, or maybe get dash makes enemies vulnerable, which they just buff from 3 seconds to 4 seconds, so it's pretty nice. This is alright to reload X amount of ammo after using defense. This is also alright, but definitely not one of my favorites. This is pretty good. It is 7 seconds at max, and it gives you good move speed to move around the map and strength, but usually you would use it for mostly move speed, just move through the map very fast. This is good if you're considering wedding gift, and even if you're going into the volcanic shots, it's still pretty good because it gives you more ammo, and each shot does more attack and more power by a certain amount. Special heals, I do like this because your Q is a nice heal, but sometimes you just want something that doesn't take away your health whenever you're very low. You just can special somebody. This is an alright, I would say. I use this somewhat often, but it's better in the start of the game because you would be relying more on your power, and then late game your shots just do way more damage than your power, and it takes time to kind of make sure that it's a perfect shot. This is okay, not the biggest fan of it. This is also alright. Homing missiles can be fun. Sometimes you just want to kill somebody off very fast, so you can do that. Knockout, this is definitely my favorite skill, maybe my favorite skill in the whole game. This just feels very satisfying. 4-second cooldown, and it's whenever you're at close range to the enemy, you just hit them with the butt of your gun, and it does 700% damage, which is very fun, amazing animation, very heartwarming ability to use. And most of the time, whenever you get abilities like this, it would be a third or fourth hit of the chain, but this is right away. So if you're just close to the enemy, you can hit them and it will do a lot of damage. This is pretty good. Dashing through the hero makes them get a shield, especially if you're playing with the vulnerable on dash through enemy. It is pretty fun. And in general, this character for items does like to have more dashes. This is also alright. I have used it a few times, but I haven't really seen that much of a difference because with this character you don't really want to go as much into damage. You would get 2 to 300 damage maybe, while with somebody like Melusine or Geppetto you can go full damage and you can get 4, 5, 600 damage easily. I've even gotten up to 900 damage with Melusine, so this doesn't make that much of a difference. This is okay as well, especially if you pair it with some of the other defense shots. It can be somewhat okay, but usually you wouldn't really use defense as much. You'd use it for invulnerability. So in general, if you have the choice and the other talent, whatever you're taking is not the best, you can take this. This is not bad. Trait also damages all around. This is alright, especially if you play with Romeo, you can double up on it, but also just an okay power. I not sure I do always understand how this works, but from the animation, sometimes I would see this work and it does look pretty nice, like it does a bit more damage, but I may be wrong, so I'm not really too experienced with this. And this is also a pretty good ability, Lucky Shot. If you get into power building, it's also pretty nice. Usually you take this to restore your healing easily because getting overflowing passion is kind of under the question because you may get it, you may not. And Q is also not always great. So in the third stage, whenever there's knights and those bigger gargoyles, you may need some quick healing. This is also alright, marked. This does help. Instead of like vulnerable, you can just apply this, but also consider that this is an ult and your Poison Flask does have a 60-second cooldown, so this is not something you can do in every fight. This is alright, but I do think she has a lot of damage, so you don't really need more damage. But basically, if you do your dance moves correctly, the damage can increase at the end of it, and this is also pretty okay. After using dash, Juliet drops a flask of poison on the ground that deals damage, but I would advise just getting marked because you do have enough damage as is. For the items that are good for Juliet, I would definitely say that anything to do with attack, especially desert draws, because you ideally want to be dashing a lot. You get 5 of these, you get critical hit deal plus 50% damage. That's a very easy way to increase your crit. But of course, the good old leprechaun is still pretty nice if you want to build into that route. But I do find myself having more fun with Eternal Rose. Gold Egg is an alright. It's always good. I think this is probably the best item in the game. And if you don't have basically your Ace of Spades, you should go into Gold Egg. But for me, the most fun I've found is Ace of Spades. You get 4 of them. You have more attack speed. Your attacks deal a lot more damage. Your attacks can easily deal 900 at 1000 damage by the end of the run on the hardest difficulty. For the purple ones, you basically want to build into dash. So I would the best thing is to get the cooldown reduction for dash, because 3 of them increase your movement speed by 15%, which is very nice to move around the map. And then if you get 1 or 2 extra dashes, that would make sure, if you have 3 cooldowns as well, that will make sure that you will basically never run out. For legendaries, I do like 20% sometimes. Warple Blade, Tamatabaku is pretty nice. This is not really needed. Ring of the Spell, they just recently buffed it from 3 to 4 seconds, because I do think they probably found that this character needs a bit help with that, with vulnerability. I usually don't take Raven's effigy on this character. This is alright if you have a chance. Excalibur is always good. I think it's one of the best legendaries in the game, and I hope they can rework this item soon. And as for this is alright. I tried it a few times, and it can work definitely, but I would prefer just having more dashes by default. Hungry Grass, a good legendary, I think, or sorry, cursed item. I think the best is Hope Diamond as per usual, but this is close second. You don't really want to get Cauldron most of the time, because if you have an ability, if you don't get Hope's Diamond or Hungry Grass, you would just go for Black Lotus and heal yourself after your auto attacks pretty much all the time. Babiga's Mortar is also pretty nice. And yeah, you basically get all of these items. And I'm gonna throw a few items, a few screenshots on the screen, and I do want to say that sadly still money is the king in this game. You don't get as much money if you don't have golden eggs, if you don't have leprechauns, so your damage may be a bit lacking, but as a recency bias, I do like playing this character a lot. You get this talent, I got lucky, it gave me legendary, and you would just dash around, do your shots, dash around, do your shots, E, stuff like that. I don't really have that much tech with this character. The combo that I said in the start, that your power shots can, whenever they become, your attacks become power shots, and you have ignite on power shots, that can be very amazing. That's something I discovered. Otherwise, the same way that you can just destroy, if you play together with Romeo, you can destroy his rows. Your auto attacks, if they become power shots, they can also destroy the rows. But yeah, I don't think, sadly, Romeo is a good pair for this character. Well, yes, they technically should be played together, but in the game, I don't see them being a good pair, meaning that the only thing that they can bring to each other is the starting talent of Juliet. Romeo doesn't really have anything like that. Then you have 2 E's and maybe your interaction between your powers. But otherwise, I would just say play this character by herself and with this starting talent. Because I've tried both, and this was personally more fun for me. I think it was a bit easier. I did more damage. At whenever my brother was playing Romeo, I would go for Wedding Gift. We would have around the equal amount of damage, but in general, we would be a bit slower, I would say. Do you think Romeo could be buffed? Because I don't think he is that good of a character by himself. This is favorite skill knockout. I guess I'll show how it works. But yeah, the Romeo is very good with his defense and with ability for his auto attacks to be defense, but in general I would say he is mostly just a tank for this character, and this character just does the damage. But yeah, but you can play into like power builds or special builds where both players try to get the same thing. So whenever your wedding gift does proc, you get the same stuff together.